All right, hey everybody. Today's video is called Fix and Flip Horror Story Part 1. This is a bit of an interesting video that I'm going to make on a unique horror story on one of our fix and flip properties. So, if you don't know who I am, I'm Dustin Hahn, and we use the strategies in these videos to do hundreds of deals all over the US for fixing and flipping and buying property for 40 to 90% below market value. So I want to go and dive into this unique fix and flip horror story today to just kind of give you guys an example of something that can go quite wrong that is unexpected. So if you're watching on Facebook, awesome. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe if you're interested in more of this information. So first off, out of the gate, like what are the most common kind of horror stories on fix and flips, right? It's basically just one of two scenarios. And the first scenario is you find the property, and what happens is you made a mistake. Maybe you buy the property and there's some foundation issues, or you just drastically underestimate what it's going to cost you to fix up that property to make your profits. So we've definitely had that many times as well. The second scenario is you buy a property and your contractors are constantly screwing you around. They're going over budget, they're taking too long, maybe you have to replace them. And this is going to be more common if you have no experience in construction or anything like that. So those are kind of the two scenarios where you're going to kind of get screwed on fix and flips. And we've definitely had our share of screwing things up. And I think that's one of the things that kind of separates us from a lot of other people making online videos, because most folks that are making their YouTube channels or their Facebook, it's always about the wins. It's always about the wins. And we're kind of like a fire ready aim type of group where we've done hundreds of properties and we've definitely screwed up a good handful of them by just going too fast. So I want to share with you some of the lessons so that maybe you can avoid that. Now, this video today is something that's completely unexpected. So we bought this property in Cincinnati and we bought it for 26,000 bucks. And then from there, we put $130,000 into it, and then we sold it for about 250 grand. So there was a good profit potential at the end of the day. There was well over 50,000 bucks in profit on the property. Now, here's where things get a little screwy. So this was obviously a big rehab and it took months. And the first contractor screwed up, so he had to leave. The initial rehab budget was like 60,000 bucks. So it went more than double the rehab budget. When COVID kicked in, we ended up having just a bunch of contractors fall out and just kind of dealing with all of the crap that came with that. So at the end of the day, it took a long time to sell, but we still made a decent chunk of money. So fast forward to today, it's been about 3 months since the property has sold. And when the buyer came in, the buyer said, all right, well, there's a few things that we want fixed with the house. So they did their inspection and then they gave us like a punch list, which is a list of things to fix on the property before closing. So we went ahead, we fixed it, they signed off, we closed, we moved on with life. And now we got a letter from their attorney saying that they want to reverse the sale. They want out of the house. So to us, this is the first time we've ever had anything like this happen before, and it was quite shocking. So to be honest, that's why I'm calling this part one, is because we don't quite know how this is going to go. We're getting litigation involved on the property, but clearly who knows what's going on in the mind of this seller. Maybe the neighbor got a better deal. Maybe their best friend got a nicer house. Maybe they're going through a divorce. People will come up with the craziest things to go ahead and try to get refunds on things. So this is something we've done hundreds of deals on, and this is the first time that it's come up. But they had many chances along the way to back out of the deal. That's what the whole closing period is for. That's what the inspection period's for. And that's why they give us a punch list. They'll say, yes, this is what they said. They said, yeah, we want to buy the property. However, we want you to fix these things. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was air conditioning and things like that. So we fixed everything, and months went by, and now here we are. They're wanting to reverse sales. So obviously, we're going to fight this tooth and nail and see where it goes. So that's why I'm calling this Horror Stories Part 1, because there's going to be a Part 2 where I will walk you through the resolution of what went on. So just some lessons to take away with it. If you're in real estate, if you're doing numbers, things are going to happen. It's not always peaches and ice cream. Sometimes there's going to be challenges, especially if you're doing fix and flip. And that's why getting started with wholesaling is a great way to kind of limit that risk, right? Because if you're wholesaling, it's the end buyer who will be the one dealing with all of that, and you can limit your risk quite a bit by going the wholesale route. Now, that being said, when you do fix and flips, the profit margins can be much higher. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 bucks, or negative 10, 20, $30,000 as well, depending on what goes wrong. So kind of my advice to people that want to do fix and flips is, if you have a construction background, that's optimal, right? Because you know if somebody's going to screw you around or give you a bad quote or do crappy work. I come from a welding background. I don't have a keen eye for construction, so it's something that we've had to learn along the way. And to tell you the truth, we're not expert level fix and flippers, although we've done hundreds of deals. I'm not passionate about picking up a saw and a hammer, so there's always going to be room there. So if you want to do a fix and flip, it definitely helps. Or if you're going to get into it, just know that there's going to be a price to play. You might get a good contractor out of the gate. That's awesome. Keep them around. However, if you're wanting to get into fix and flips and you don't have experience, you will have to cut your teeth over time. The other option is the sweat equity side of it. Maybe if you did that for a couple of your properties, then you can learn how to do it. It's going to take you a couple months to go ahead and probably learn those skills. A friend of mine is actually building like a travel adventure van, and he's started from scratch. He's watching YouTube tutorials and learning the whole process so that he understands how it's done. So I'm not saying that's what you need to do. If you haven't done a deal, first off, out of the gate, then starting with wholesaling is a great way to go. Or if you're wanting to buy a rental that is already in good shape, then from there, that's where you pay a couple $100, get the inspection done, and then make sure that property is in fine form when you purchase it, so that you're not going to get any unexpected surprises. Now, with us, because we're buying properties so cheap, they're often not in the best conditions, and that's where you're going to make your profit. And that's how we buy most of our properties, 40 to 90% below market value. So remember, if you're dealing with something where it's in beautiful condition, so for example, when a homeowner spends all of their time telling me about how beautiful the house is and how nice the deck is, I know that they're not motivated. Like, we're buying property from the people who maybe they've lost their job, maybe they're going through divorce, maybe they inherited a property, maybe they're a hoarder. There's a life situation that needs them to sell quickly, and that's where we make our money. So anyways, that's part one of the fix and flip horror story. We'll get to part two once this thing resolves itself. So if you're watching on Facebook, if you want to reach out, if you want more information, we're always happy to chat. Just type the word chat in the box below, and we can reach out, talk to you more about real estate. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link below where I always like to give away my how to buy property for 40 to 90% below market value training. There's a link to that below. If you're watching on Facebook, just go to dustinhahn.net. But basically, it's like a starter kit to get you started. We walk you through all the steps with this 0 to 100K blueprint. And then we just have a whole bunch of like really cool goodies like our wholesale contract, a rehab calculator, wholesale contract, special report, 4 crucial things to avoid. This is just kind of a quick start guide that we give away for some value. So click the link below. If you're watching on Facebook, go to dustinhahn.net or type the word chat and we can help you guys get started with this. So this will be the first of many more videos to come. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.